Hey, good morning, Patriots. I'm not in my studio. I'm in my car, in my truck. I'm actually doing county commissioner stuff, hanging out, drinking coffee, looking for illegals to be picked up. And it's happening too. Just not this minute. And I'm not doing it. I'm just going to social services meeting and I'm late. So they're gonna be upset with me, but then when are they not, right? But someone I'm not upset with, and nor should you be, is Chris Cordani. Good morning, Chris.
Oh, good. Then it's a good day.
It's a good
You're not
day.
upset with me. I'm happy. At least I get due process.
Well, you get due process when you get to do the show, right?
Hey-o.
By the way, speaking of hey-os, I don't know if you've seen the Chris Plant Right Squad the other night, but I was on there and I got a hey-o from Chris because we were talking about the male fencer playing to be a female. And I said on air, I said, well, it's an unfair advantage because the girl opposing him doesn't know what pokey thing to kind of stop. He's got two pokey things. So
hey, it's just like that pool tournament. There was an international pool tournament where it was women's division, and of course there were two guys that won, and that's two pokey things for each of them.
That's four pokey things. It's like so many pokey things you don't want to be in the room because you're going to get poked. Just saying.
Hey, let's get poked here by Barry.
Hey, good morning, Barry. He's here early, thank God, because I got to go. So, Barry, welcome to the show. Well, Patriots are gonna love you as always. So, I saw you had some highfalutin celebrities up there getting pictures with you up in New York during the Newsmax opening. Is that true?
Yeah. I was called in to do, as usual, the Newsmax crew. So, met some new people there that I haven't shot before, so that was pretty cool. Yeah,
that's great.
Well, great people there. So yeah, it was fun. Two days of shooting at the studio. So yeah, probably not supposed to reveal who yet, but yeah, it was fun.
Well, no, a couple of them have already leaked stuff. Just saying, you're not,
Oh, good.
we don't have the Pentagon regarding security.
not anymore, right?
I'm not that important.
Yeah, no.
I saw a few shout outs. That was nice.
Yeah. So there's a telegraphing, so to speak, of coming. So anyway, speaking of New York, one of the things I've seen is Mayor Adams is kind of like, grown. Can I say pokey things? No, he's got things under his pokey thing, right? Because he's grown some balls.
That's why they don't like him anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's like he becomes a man and all the Democrats hate him. What's up with that, Barry?
Oh, if the Democrats hate him, it's a good sign. Maybe New York City is going to be fixed soon. I hope so. That's all I can think of. I do know his ratings are still very low with the NYPD, and that they're still not happy with him. So he's better move fast because he's really wasted a lot of time not doing anything in New York. So let's hope he gets it done finally.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Maybe he's finally going to do something, and the city will turn around.
Good. Well, speaking of turning around, I got to go, but I'll check in later when Rob O'Neill shows up. I got to actually go to do some county commissioner stuff. So I'll see you guys a bit later this morning. Yeah.
Tony's going to be here with Rob O'Neill. I'm here with Barry. Barry.
Hey again.
Let's do the big one here. The big story is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has said that they're backing the idea that Trump can deport aliens or those who mean to do us harm under the Alien Enemies Act. This mainly focuses on what happened with the Venezuelan Trende Aragua. I don't even care to pronounce their name properly anyway. Doesn't matter. Trende Aragua. This Judge Boasberg has been fighting tooth and nail to stop this from happening. He's a slime anyway. One of those deep staters. He's been trying to block all of this. He's part of the lawfare against Donald Trump. This looks like, on paper, a big win. There is, however, a catch. Supreme Court. The idea is the Supreme Court wants these aliens, these illegals, by the way, to have the same due process that an American citizen has the right to here in the country. That, my friends, is another hindrance to what we're trying to do here. What do you think, Barry? Due process or not? Do you think that illegals deserve due process if they mean to do us harm here, especially?
They deserve absolutely nothing. They deserve to be kicked the hell out of the country. That's end of story. I mean, thank God the Supreme Court came through, but 4 of the justices voted against it, which is, to me, frightening. How do you vote against that? Why would you want to bring these animals back into the country? I mean, these are killers, rapists, they're gang leaders. I mean, there's just no question about it. It's like I just don't understand the issue or the question with this. It shouldn't be a problem, and they absolutely deserve no rights in our country.
And keep in mind, the usual suspects did vote against this whole idea, and Amy Coney Barron actually voted against it.
Actually, I haven't heard that yet. That's wow.
Yep.
That is disappointing. That's I think he made a mistake on that one.
It's funny. It's funny. I understand from the libertarian point of view that people deserve due process. So let's just throw that around here. I do understand that point of view. The problem is we're dealing with gang members in the U.S. We're dealing with people who are here to either traffic humans, traffic drugs, or terrorize citizens of the U.S., people who should be protected by the Constitution. These people, again, they're enemy invaders, if anything else. They deserve no due process, as would an enemy combatant who comes in here and starts shooting up a village.
Exactly. Even if they came here illegal and they came here to be accountants, teachers, or doctors, they still came here illegally. So that's a criminal right there. But on top of that,
came here to be lawyers, that would be a real problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. You never know these days. But I mean, but on top of that, like you said, they're gang members, they're drug dealers, child traffickers. How do you fight to keep? What kind of a mind fights to bring that back into the country? It blows my mind. It's insane.
Exactly. Let's go to the Patriots on this one. Beach Cat Blue says they're dangerous criminals. Seems our proggy dem friends. I like that. I like proggy dem friends are enchanted by evil. It's probably true. Sean Lucas. Hey, Sean. Amy Comet Barad. It's a disappointment again. I love these. I love the comments here. In center myself, I hope every illegal going through due process sues all the way to the Supreme Court. Flood them. Hey, you know what? That's kind of funny because you get what you deserve. The Villages is okay. There we go. The Villages is looking for a new wallpaper hanger. Is that from Stacey Crockett? No, that's from Lil Peach 111. I'll get the Stacey Crockett quote coming out soon because I think that's from a little while back. And she shows us how she really feels about the immigrants. Here we go. U.S. Air Crew says she, obviously Coney Barrett, is no constitutionalist. Again, I do understand there are some constitutionalists who will say that people who visit this country deserve due process. Where again, all right, if you say a tourist who comes here to do business here deserves due process, fine. But in essence, a lot of the protections from the Constitution are not rights, Barry, to everybody. They're privileges.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, again, if you're here and you're a gang leader, child trafficker, drug dealer, how do you have any possible rights? And wouldn't every American just be anxious to get them back in the country? And what kind of American is anxious to get them back in? If they do want to bring them back in, let them stay at their house. I'm sure the judge has a lot of room in his home.
Yeah, Judge Boasberg. Yeah, drop them all off at Judge Boasberg's house. Give them the new. Yeah, have that be the new MS-13 or Tren de Aragua headquarters. How about that?
Exactly.
What do you guys think about that? I think Boasberg's house should be there, or Kamala Harris's house. There we go. Or how about Jasmine Crockett? She's a street tough, isn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
street cred.
And her attitude towards immigrants is shown here. This is absolutely reprehensible, if you ask me.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now.
Ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now.
She's been taken over by the body snatchers. She didn't used to talk like that.
No, she's but off the camera. She's like, oh, and the lady fingers are quite superb here at Cotillion. Shall we country club after I get on camera today? I hope they serve the wine that's at least 25 years old. I don't like this cheap stuff from 1999. By the way,
just one of the most racist people in Congress, and just gets away with it. Just the comments she makes is absolutely incredible. Oh, you responded.
Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
She's so
You're not.
Wow.
You're not.
You're not.
We done picking cotton.
Well,
So we're done doing that. So other people should. Immigrants should come in here from other countries and have the privilege of picking our cotton, but not the privilege of going in the right way and trying to become an American citizen.
Exactly.
This is what we think.
It's insane that you would go there. I mean, that just race baiting pools. Who votes for these people? It's just incredible. It's disgraceful.
By the way, Robert O'Neill will be with us in just a little while, and Tony Shaffer will be with us when Robert O'Neill's here. Let's go to the Patriots. It's sickening how blatant they're about appropriating others' mannerisms. Yes, Denise 15. That is cultural appropriation. You're 100% right. Loves Christ, bless their hearts, which is probably the worst thing you can hear from a Southerner.
Exactly.
Cricket's ghetto voice is as fake as Harris, RD Bull. Yeah, it's pretty fake. I have to tell you. And let's see. Oh, by the way, Sean, you got to ride George's bike. I don't know if my wife would let me ride George's bike.
I'm reading these.
I love doing this. But here, this is, and again, the common misconception is that we don't welcome immigrants in this country. When in fact, we do welcome them. There are ways to get in, and there are ways to, they're also subject to our laws as well. MS-13 does not get the privilege of being allowed to walk in and out of these borders anymore. We have a new sheriff in town. We actually have a government which is told Border Patrol to keep an eye out for kids who have been trafficked instead of ignoring them like the last administration did. And this was said by by members of the Border Patrol.
And the left is angry about that, I'm sure.
Yes, they are.
This upsets them.
Yeah. Who's going to pick their cotton and tattoo and administer their tattoos? I guess I don't know. These are horrible people.
Absolutely the worst. But again, yeah, the left defends always the worst. Whether it's the gang members, whether it's the Hamas supporters. I mean, they're always on the wrong side of everything. This usual suspects.
Yep. And speaking of usual suspects, Adam Schiff. Schiff has a new committee, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Democrats on Trump agenda and the rule of law. Basically, he's putting together a shadow so-called oversight committee, and we all know that this is the guy and his party are the ones that need oversight at this point. He's trying to put a little shadow committee blaming Donald Trump for having a shadow government. Where has this guy been the last many years? Well, he's been part of this shadow government.
Right.
You want to hear him? Let's hear him.
If we have to.
Yes, of course. Well, we're stuck.
Step of convening this unprecedented hearing. We brought together both chambers of Congress, the Senate and the House, to conduct real oversight and to serve as a check and balance.
There's your lineup. You got Schiff and Jamie Ratskin.
Wow. Two of the worst. Two of the absolute worst.
Use power to account and to carry out our constitutional duty. Convening this hearing was not our first choice. We have tried to get our Republican colleagues to hold hearings, to do meaningful oversight, to assert Congress's authority as an independent branch of government. But to our great disappointment, our Republican colleagues have abdicated that important responsibility. They've stood by as the president has run roughshod over the legislative branch and turned Congress into little more than a rubber stamp.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you see, that's a lie, too. Yeah, he has to walk a fine line here with a Congress that still has 2 or 3 neocons, 4 or 5 neocons within the House that can turn a vote. So he does not have a very large majority. Adam Schiff is, again, lying through his teeth. He's just upset he doesn't have power anymore, and he doesn't have the control of, he doesn't have the deep state on his, he doesn't have the power of the deep state behind him anymore, because they're losing their power every day, thanks to Doge, thanks to the Trump agenda and his sledgehammer, and of course, thanks to the fact that the people have stood up to the Democrats and the deep state finally.
Yeah, they're losing their power, but they're getting more and more desperate and crazier every day.
And it's just fun watching this guy. He was at the height of his power when he was trying to pull those the impeachment lies. He was at the height of power when he was on when he was running that J6 committee. But now he is sent back to the children's table where he belongs, and he's upset.
So today we'll hold the first of what we hope will be more bicameral oversight hearings. We will do the investigative work that our colleagues across the aisle refuse to do. We will expose the illegality, abuse, and corruption of this administration and within the Department of Justice.
Wait a minute. I believe this is about 4 years too late.
Yeah, exactly. They have no self-awareness. Everything they accuse us Republicans of is everything they did.
Yeah, I call it the Adam Schiff Projection Committee.
Yeah. Besides being sent to the little kiddies table, he needs to be sent to jail. But unfortunately, I guess he was given one of those pardons from Biden. So I know there was talk of somehow reversing that. I don't know if that's going to happen or if that's legal, but I just wish it would, because he should be in jail. He's a horrible, evil man.
Oh, that's something to discuss here. If you think about it, this AutoPen situation, I know Tony and I were talking about this some weeks ago.
Right.
AutoPen is great when a president can't be around and some mundane legislation or regular letters need to be signed. You can't expect a president to sign every letter to every thing around the world. And I understand that they are obligated to send things to citizens at certain times. I get that. It would be nice to have the full signature, but we understand that. When it comes to something important like a pardon or a major piece of legislation or an executive order, you got to sign the thing by hand.
Right.
So
if they can prove, can they prove all this, that Biden acted or was done by AutoPen, some of these important legislations or whatever, because then they could hopefully reverse some of these pardons too.
Well, the idea of it being done by AutoPen, you can sit there and say, then you can actually argue Joe Biden didn't know any of this. And there's a good chance he never knew until it was too late.
Right.
And they just, here, read this. And he's like, all right, I agree with that.
Yeah.
The fact is, though, you had probably some snot-nosed kid, as James Carver would put it, sitting there saying, I don't want anybody being found out here. I want to make my name in the Democrat Party. So let's use Otto's signature, and let's give all these people these mass pardons, or some of these party leaders from the deep state saying, oh, I want to get, or Adam Schiff kind of asking for a favor, that sort of thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
He belongs in jail. He's just the worst of the worst.
Yes. I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think of Trump's tariffs? And I understand the effects of the market are panicking a lot of people, but between you and me, after the overinflation of the last couple of years, thanks to money printing, quantitative easing, as we put it, this is a correction.
Exactly. I mean, this is something that's, like I said, it should have been done 60 years ago, just because he's trying to correct it. I mean, we're all feeling a little, like you said, there'll be a little pain in the beginning, but look, this is not my specialty. I'm not an expert, but I've been listening to everything he's saying. I've been listening to experts. I mean, he knows what he's doing. All these people on social media who are suddenly experts, who want to go to the White House and tell Trump how to run the country and run the economy. I mean, it's ludicrous. I trust him. I mean, it just sounds like, he's trying to do the right thing. It's going to be a little painful, but it's going to be all good in the end. So I'm not worried. He knows what he's doing.
I would say that, and I believe he does. And there are a lot of other components to this.
Mm-hmm.
You have, and again, I'm going to say I'm not a financial advisor. Mm-hmm. You have the president whose policies have maybe hurt the billionaires. The very same people the left keeps saying, well, we got to tax the billionaires. We got to tax them. These are the people that are getting hurt the most. And even they know this is a correction.
Right. Exactly.
And now you have probably people who may not have been able to get into the market later on. And again, I'm not telling people to do so, because there's a difference. It could be sale time. It could be catching a falling knife. We don't know yet. Mm-hmm. But the idea is he may have rendered the stock market a little more affordable at this time for people to get involved. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's another component. Another one is he's bringing other nations to the table. He's bringing other foreign companies are looking at the idea of building in America to avoid the tariffs. Good one. Good idea. That brings more jobs into the country. American companies or maybe might have to can their slave labor if they in other countries and come back here and give jobs to real Americans. That's a good thing. And now European nations, Barry, are coming closer to the table.
Right.
All of them.
Absolutely.
Even remember Ursula von der Leyen. She's a little crazy. She's the one who was going, we're going to protect our interests. That's what we're going to do first. We don't like what Trump's doing.
Yes.
Well, here she is now. Saying we're going to negotiate.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's hear her.
We stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal. So we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared to respond through countermeasures and defend our interests.
Yeah, I heard the defend our interest parts, but here's something I found interesting. Let's see. 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other nations, trading partners. And they didn't bother to do it with us now, did they? You know, we hear our left saying, you shouldn't leave NATO. They're our allies. These Western Europeans, we need them. Yeah, sure. They need more than we need them. They don't even bother giving us a better trade deal, like they do with other trading partners, apparently.
Absolutely. Yeah, America's always last. You know, that's what I love about that. I can, when I'm not an expert on something, where there's a subject I'm not quite sure of, I can always gauge it by when Trump is for it and when the Democrats are going crazy against it. That's easy. I know how to vote on that one. It just, they make it simple. I know the Democrats are against it. I was like, I don't know if I don't understand it. It's like, well, can't be good. I mean, it can't be bad if they're against it.
And then there's another one. Here's another point to this whole idea with the tariffs. You see a lot of the investor, the big investor class maybe taking a little bit of a hit. That includes a lot of Democrat donors. That includes interest from George Soros as well. So that again hits people like that in the pocketbook. We like to joke that while Donald Trump's enemies are playing checkers, he's playing 4D chess.
Right.
Look what he's doing now.
Yeah.
The guy's playing 4D chess, Pente, and Go at the same time.
Right.
And probably the hard version of Go, not the kiddie version, if you will. Did you catch those protests last weekend?
Oh my God! Yeah,
Democrats acting out.
No,
again,
the worst of the worst of America. It's just horrible. I mean, the stuff I was seeing, the worst people, the dumbest people, just the worst lowlifes in this country. They have no idea what they're protesting. Again, the ones that go out to Elon and protest Tesla, they're the ones who afford the. I thought we were all supposed to drive electric cars by the end of the decade or something like that. All of a sudden they hate it. I mean, they're just so dumb. It makes me nuts. It makes my head explode of the stupidity. And they're evil. A lot of the signs you see are just evil, like threatening the deaths, threatening deaths. It's just or wishing death upon people. It's
true. And Barry, these are the same people who call Elon Musk a man who has built microchips to help paralyzed people walk.
Right.
They call him a Nazi.
Right.
Yet they support causes that are run by a guy who helped the Nazis.
Exactly right. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of laughable, but it's really not, because it's so pitiful and distressing that these people can just they're just so out there and just they don't know what they're doing.
Well, they're not called
the left has gone completely. I mean, they were already crazy, and some people said, "Oh, maybe they'll calm down and realize that they weren't on the right side after the election the way we voted." But no, they've gone even crazier. They're to me, they're the Manson family now. They're on street corners. They're singing songs on street corners, and just wishing death upon rich people. So
it's all massively coordinated.
Yeah.
Yes, and the joke is they have paid protesters. They do.
Right.
Most of these people don't look. They already have. You want to talk about suckers and losers? They're the people that actually believe these causes.
Right. Exactly. That's
and don't get paid for it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I was on X and I saw this really neat video with this girl who apparently is a paid protester.
Okay.
She kind of dishes a bit on what it takes to become a paid protester. So let's hear this, Barry. And I want to hear what you and the Patriots think while this is playing.
I was one of the paid protesters at the April 5th liberal protests. And so I just wanted to come on and talk about my experience, what I had to do to get paid, and how much I got paid. So there were two kind of parts to it. The first was obviously just showing up. They gave me like a time and a place and told me to look for a girl with blue hair and a nose ring, which I thought
blue hair and a nose ring.
Because I thought like everyone was gonna look like that. But
that narrows it down.
Really easy to find her. So yeah, that was good. I checked in. They told you that you couldn't wear anything MAGA. They also asked you not to wear red. So I just wore a black t-shirt and jeans. And I checked in, and then they said just go on the march. And then at the end there would be a questionnaire to answer. Oh, and then the other thing is they said they would pay extra if you brought a sign. So I did bring a sign. Again, same thing, like couldn't be MAGA, had to like be in line with like the liberal agenda. So my sign said, everyone deserves a good education, which like I don't necessarily personally agree with. Like if you're gonna be a server or like a mechanic, like you don't really need an education, but I wanted to fit in. I wanted the money. And I didn't want to like draw attention to myself. So that's what I went with. So anyways, I went on the march, and then at the end I had to check back in, and that's when they gave me the questionnaire. And okay, the interesting thing is like you had to answer the questionnaire as if you were a liberal, and there were.
That means she has to at least get an operation to remove her brain cells.
That's right. And she realized she's probably not supposed to be on TikTok telling all these inside secrets.
Right, snort some cocaine, and apparently they should have been tipped off because she didn't have enough piercings.
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah. Right and wrong answers. Like it wasn't just like whatever you thought. Like you could get the questions wrong, and you had to get them right.
I have to ask you another question, Barry. What is it with liberal type women that they're always, no matter even if they tell you something, they're always asking a question? It's always like they're asking a question.
Exactly.
We have Senator Upspeak, Kirsten Gillibrand up here in New York who does that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In order to get paid. At this point, I had already invested like 2 hours of my time, so I wanted the money, you know? So the first question, for example, was why do Republicans want more women to stay home and not work and not have jobs? And again, I just kind of like had to put myself in like their mindset. So I wrote basically like if women don't have jobs or job experiences, and they have to rely on men financially, and that gives men a lot more control over their lives. For example, like, you know, if like she's in an abusive situation or whatever, she can't really
Stupidity
leave,
on
especially if she
parade.
has
Good one,
kids.
U.S.
She doesn't have the
air
means
crew.
to take care of them,
USH air crew.
she doesn't have the experience to get a job that could like afford to take care of
Angels
them.
unawares.
So
Valley
like,
girls still exist.
a lot more
Love it.
control to kind of do what they want her to do, basically. So that was my answer for the first one, and I got that right. But there were some that I just like didn't really know what they would consider a right answer, you know? So I just asked, I was like, what do I do? I don't know how to answer this. And she said, just like do your best and then come talk to her at the end. So for example, there's one I didn't really know what to say. It was like, what is critical race theory and why should it be taught? And
this is actually being done. They at least they vet and screen some of their protesters, but I'm sure pretty much most of us know to answer questions like them. Just
right.
Put, I don't know. And that'll be perfect. All right.
I saw there was a guy, one of the protesters on Newsmax they were showing too, and he was holding up his big sign, all proud. And the interviewer said, you know, okay, well, what does that sign mean? And first he had to turn around and read it.
Oh, the fascism sign.
He said, yeah, I don't know. Somebody gave it to me. That's what we're dealing with. We got Squeaky Fromm here, and all these other brain dead lunatics who have no idea what the hell they're protesting.
And a lot of them are out there thinking, well, the 60s were such a neat time.
Well,
it would be just like that.
That's been going on so long. It started with like under Bush, I think. All these people just missed the 60s, and they think, oh, that looked cool, hanging out, protesting everything. And, back then, maybe they had a few things to protest. But now, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're protesting against good things.
I think that started with the 1990s. And we're going to introduce Robert O'Neill, former Navy SEAL, the man who shot bin Laden. He's here with us. Robert, Tony Shaffer is going to be in here to do some talking with you as well in just a few moments. But welcome to Wake Up Patriots.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm here if you need anything. I'm just listening and laughing and enjoying and learning all that stuff. So ask anything or I'll just sit here.
Oh, good. So let's have some fun. Let's hear some more of this one. We got about a little bit left from her. So let's hear a little bit more about what it takes to be a paid protester. I think what it takes is a face, an ability to navigate the one chick with blue hair that actually runs things amid that sea of attention-seeking haircuts, and just an IQ that almost matches Maxine Waters.
and like what's an example of like something that you could learn from it. And I like didn't know what they wanted the answer to be, you know? So I just asked her about that one, and the answer that she gave is basically they just want people to understand the lasting effects and impact of segregation and discrimination. And the example she gave, she called it like generational wealth. And she explained that during slavery and during Jim Crow and like even after that in some places, like Black families have been essentially barred from owning homes where like white families.
Yeah, this is definitely
Hey, this is now.
These kids know nothing. They really don't know anything.
Wow.
But a lot of these kids have no life experience too, and they think they're trying. They think they're contributing to the country. They've been indoctrinated by the public school teachers to an extent, and when they go to college, it gets worse.
Yeah, the Marxist professors is what they're the crap they're teaching them. Put in their pea brains.
Pea brains. I like that.
Yeah, it's just incredible. It's incredible. I mean, she's giving me a headache. I feel like I'm on an acid trip listening to her. She's.
What are your thoughts there watching this, Robert? I mean, you served the country. This is what these kids are saying.
This is just proof that we need to abolish the Department of Education.
Yes.
This is the crap there. I mean, all they do is say that they, divide and conquer, separate with this and whatever, and critical race. And I mean, this reminds me of when the governor of New York said, if you talk to someone from the inner city, they don't know what a computer is. I mean, it's just insulting. And that's the real racism they're always yelling about. And then I just paid protest. Like, if you all show up on buses, you yell with signs that someone gave you, and you all leave at 4:00. You're a paid protest. You don't know anything. If all you can shout is names and fascists. Don't even know what. I mean, they're using Marxist tactics, like using violence for the means to a political end is Marxism. That's what they're doing. They don't, but they're not smart enough to know that. They do know that it's fair to have a big dude win a women's boxing match. It's about what they know.
Beat up women. Beat up women. Yep. They have no problem, but they're all for women until a guy beats them up. Then okay, that's okay. Or they go into their bathrooms, dressed as women. That's okay.
But they shelter themselves from all this legislation too. A lot of these ivory tower liberals who stick the rest of us with having to deal with this garbage don't have to worry about it. They can pat themselves on the back with their caviar and their New York Times to wipe with, if anything else. And then they just say, hey, look what we did. We're so wonderful. Well, everybody else who has to live with it suffers the consequences. I got another protest video for both of you before Tony gets in. And this is Representative Donalds dealing with one of these, I guess, these chicks trying to white-splain race relations with him.
Agree as a member, I'm sorry, but as a member of Congress, because I was just in D.C. on Monday for Trans-State Visibility, and I would like you, as a member of Congress,
Trans-State Visibility. I'm sure she was pretty visible.
Congress to rise up and support LGBTQ plus youth and stop this fucking insane attack on our children who know who they are.
Number one,
no. Of course you're not, because you're a fascist. You're a trace. You're a race traitor and you're a fascist.
Again, I said you wanted me to, I said I don't agree, and then you start yelling at me. You call me a fascist. You call me a race traitor, and you want me to agree with you? What are you talking about, ma'am?
I am talking about
ma'am, I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in freedom and liberty for everybody. I believe in the U.S. Constitution. I believe in everybody's civil rights. But if I don't agree, hold on. But I don't agree with you, then all of a sudden I'm a fascist.
There we go. If I don't agree with you, then all of a sudden I'm a fascist.
Right. Yeah. Well, as usual, ugly white liberal women telling black people how they should vote or feel. I mean, it's just they're disgusting. And by the way, they don't need to call it hands off because nobody wants to touch them anyway.
Oh,
I think imagine if the roles were reversed and you had a Republican woman calling a black man a race traitor. Right. I mean that and also trans visibility today. Yeah, thank God we have that because it's not shoved down our throats every time we turn anything on.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this woman can see them. I'm sure this woman's visible in not only the trans parades, but also the McDonald's line almost every day. That's another one. That's why she's really upset. She's upset because RFK is going to try to curb junk food a little.
Exactly.
Yeah. She might be more upset too. They might try to get her on a treadmill. I mean, you can have a Big Mac, you can work it off, but I don't think that's a problem for her because it doesn't need a treadmill. So if you look at it, she's saving a lot of time during her morning because if you're looking for her, don't check the gym.
Right.
Yeah, she's not trolling the gym for. She might be trolling the tennis courts, right?
Yeah.
That's about it. All right. Robert O'Neill's here with us, and let's segue to the things that you do here because you've served the country for a long time. You are the man that, well, let's just say, offed Osama bin Laden. But the Democrat Party, as you see it right now, does not have a leader. They're gone. And you've been teaching leadership for a very, very long time. This is one of the things you do on your own website. What was that website? It's
Robert J. O'Neill.
RobertJO'Neill.com. There it is. And you teach leadership. You see how the new Republicans, the people who are voting in the Trump side of the Republicans, not the neocons, they've built a chain, or they've drafted and found potential leaders. The left has not. They found a bunch of children to scream and yell about what's going to happen to them in the future without a leader.
Well, I mean, you got to see the Republican Party now. I mean, Donald Trump was not a Republican for most of his life. Tulsi Gabbard is not a Republican. RFK is not a Republican. But what this movement is getting is the Republicans. I'm an independent. They got me, and moderate Democrats. That's what you're seeing here because they believe in the country. And as a leader, what I see here is an opportunity for a combat veteran Democrat to step up. Because I've always said, with most of the time, now a lot of the veterans who are Democrats, they've been poisoned by the Democrat leadership. But I've always said, usually combat vets will get in the same room and negotiate. You can't even negotiate with Democrats now because you're either with them or you're a fascist. But this is a prime time to get a couple combat vets that don't care about being primaried. If they tell the truth, get with the Republican side of the combat vets. I'll go down there with them. You can walk. I was just in D.C. a couple of days ago. You can walk through the halls, go to different offices. You can whip up different votes, and you can actually be America first. I would love to see that. I mean, the leadership is gone. Like their two best candidates for 2028 or the young man Bernie Sanders and then AOC, who probably couldn't hit her ass with both hands, and that's where they're at. And it's not leaders, but what the left media is doing. The people like Ms. Crockett, the Honorable Ms. Crockett, they're out there just spouting crap, and then the media is going to pick it up and play it. And there's no solutions. They're just fascist, racist, sexist, homophobe, Islamophobe. And they've been doing it forever. And as long as they can keep the cheat out of it, Democrats don't have a future. And I don't want to see a one-party thing because if the wrong person takes over. This is a prime time for Democrats to get a real leader, and I hope they do. I doubt they will, but that's good for the Republicans, which is good for the country.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, that's something the Democrats went along for a very long time with. Maybe here you go. They thought their leaders would be some people like Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is the Senate Majority Leader. Hakeem Jeffries, but these two have seemed to be abject failures. Hakeem Jeffries is trying too hard to sound like Barack Obama when he talks, but he doesn't seem to have a commanding presence. He doesn't seem to be somebody anybody really listens to. And Chuck Schumer, I don't know what happened to him, but he's got the glasses down to the nose like a stereotype liberal and raising his arms right now, going that.
Well, I mean, you got to figure with making $200,000 a year as a public servant for 50 years, and you're worth $85 million. You're going to try to protect what you've been corrupting. And that's just as simple as that too. And Barack Obama is an anomaly. He showed up when it was supposed to be Hillary Clinton, just like Trump showed up when it was supposed to be Hillary Clinton. It was her turn. And like the only thing the Clintons have in common with the Obamas is both their chefs drowned.
Well, I'll even say that the Hillary Clinton wing, there are certain factions of the Democrat Party who wanted to look forward and say, there's no way this woman should ever be president of the United States. I'm sure somebody knew something because out of the blue, Barack Obama, who was really just, he was being groomed at that point to become a president. They just they brought him out early. They tried him out early.
Yeah. I mean, they did, and it did what they wanted because I mean, I remember the first time I saw him speak, he was a keynote at the DNC. And I remember where I was standing when I heard him speak. And I said, this guy is going to be the next president. He's too good. He's too charismatic. And, I agree with maybe one of his calls. That was to send us into Abbottabad, Pakistan, which Joe Biden disagreed with, by the way. And that was like a nonpartisan thing to kill Osama bin Laden. So that was good. And I like the way he handled that entire thing. Some of his other stuff is just a little bit too communist for me. But, I mean, you got to admit, he looked the part. He spoke the part. And, he didn't walk around falling upstairs and shaking invisible people's hands. So, not a bad Democrat as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and even his time has passed. But at one point, he was a leading presence. Back in the day, the Democrats would take somebody like AOC or Jasmine Crockett or Adam Schiff, sit them down in a smoke-filled room with people like Robert Kerry, those guys that they used to have, and just say, hey, you know what, and just stop, okay? Yeah, I know you like the spotlight, but stop, because it's not going to help us in the future.
There's no leader there. Who's gonna pull him aside? Nancy Pelosi. I mean, and in her defense, as far as a leader in partisan politics, she was really good. She kept everyone in lockstep, but they're losing it now. Chuck Schumer's out, Pelosi's out, and all the young people they say they're educated by public schools, but a lot of them went to private schools, but they're playing the whole Jenny from the block type thing. Like AOC, I'm pretty sure went to a really good high school in Westchester, not the Bronx.
Right.
That's neither here nor there. And it's just, they're scrambling right now. They don't have and look at, they're doubling down, tripling down on their far left ideology. And if you notice too, all those paid protesters, they're all awake. They're all old white people, and all the transgender protesters, they're all old white people. And I'll tell you why, because they went all in on chemically castrating kids, and they have to stick with it. They can't admit they're wrong because they're ruining lives. Wait till the suicide rates go up. This prime examples of horrible ideas, and they usually come from Democrats. I can't remember the last time they were right about anything. I went shopping, little things. I went shopping in New York at a grocery store. They brought back the old 1970s paper bags with no handles. Like, talk about shoot me. I don't want to be part of that. I care about the turtles. The ocean's big. The turtles are small comparatively. My plastic straw is not going to kill a turtle. Get that out of my face. Where's Greta Thunberg now that electric vehicles, especially Tesla, are bad and they're all driving Humvees, not rowing a boat across the North Atlantic anymore, because it doesn't matter. It's the flavor of the day. That's all they do. They yell and scream, use emotion, and we're not allowed. Well, we weren't. It's going away now. We weren't allowed to speak the truth because we might offend dumb people, and those dumb people are the ones that they need to vote for them. So it's a self-licking ice cream cone. But I mean, we're either coming out of it or we're doomed. So that's one of two ways. It's nice to keep it simple.
Self-licking ice cream cones. One of Joe Biden's
coming out of it, because it's insane. I think Greta's moved on to Hamas, by the way.
Well, that's a good fit. Greta said it was the patriarchy, and that's where her downfall came. It's the patriarchy. Oh, wait, what about the environment? The patriarchy.
Patriarchy. Yeah. It's again that whole argument too. It's like that's all. I mean, you got to figure too. I heard that young lady speaking about women's empowerment and going to work. You got to figure the big women's movement to send women to work is so the government could tax twice the amount of people in the household, and so that they would be forced to send their kids to daycare and public schools so the state can raise good little workers. That's the whole plan. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a nuclear family. I've got 4 daughters. I'm able to stay home I went to war for the first 3, but now I'm able to stay home a little bit with my young daughter. And there's nothing better. There's nothing more fulfilling. And a nuclear family makes good neighbors, which makes a good community, which makes a good state, which makes a good country. And that's it. That makes success. Instead of running around yelling about all the crap you deserve and don't have, a victim and I need instant gratification. That's nonsense. Just like a good tariff. Give it a second. We're all gonna be like everyone in Kuwait that lives like kings.
I know the media kind of exasperates this too, because A, it's their job, and B, they love ratings, and yes, there are components in them that work for the deep state. We all understand all of that, but you bring this up, and it's very important. It's we live in an instant gratification society because we have 24-hour news cycles from the cable news and whatever the kids watch these days, and then the internet. You have something up there. It doesn't matter if it's the truth or not. Everybody has to get that story out first, and then when we have everything, we get the baseball scores right off the bat if we're not able to watch it. So we're expecting results tomorrow. Not we, but the people who don't really think about it are expecting results tomorrow when it comes to tariffs. They're expecting results tomorrow when it comes to Doge. This is going to have to pan out. This could take years.
It's going to take. I mean, you got to figure. I think that the Trump administration has until about next April, and that's about it. It better turn around. But the good news on the flip side is this is his last term, but he's saying he's going to run for a third. They better show leadership too, because they have the House and the Senate. They used to have majority in the Supreme Court, but Amy Coney Barrett is proving that she doesn't care. I don't know what dirt they have on her, but she's just completely flipped. But they can push a lot of legislation through, which they should, because it's mostly good. And They got a little bit of time. But what I like about this market and all that stuff is I don't like the way it goes. I don't like staring at it, but it's an excuse to turn my computer and phone off and like get outside, get some air, go for a run, get a workout, turn the crap off. Don't watch the chaos and pick it up a little later. And everyone's going to be fine. Look at the history of the Dow, the economy. It's always gone up. It's going to go up. That's just it. But, it might be bad. It's great today. It was bad yesterday. What are you going to do? Turn it off. Get outside.
I want to talk about some of your books. One of the newer ones is The Way Forward, Master Life's Toughest Battles and Create Your Lasting Legacy. Talk a little about that. Again, you've been speaking about leadership. We're talking about leadership today, and we're seeing a on the political side where everybody can see. You can see a lasting, great organizations, good people. You build them together, and you train. You find leaders. You handpick them, and you kind of nurture them. On the other side, you have the Democrats who are confusing TikTok stars with influencers with leaders, and that's another issue. But talk about this book, what people are seeing as far as leaders are concerned, and what you want your readers to get out of it.
The Way Forward, I wrote with my dear friend Dakota Meyer, who's a Medal of Honor recipient. He got that in Ganjgal in Afghanistan, and one of the most horrific gunfights I've ever heard of. It's in the book he wrote. What we do is we go back and forth, my story to his story, mine to his. And basically it's from the beginning to the end that it doesn't matter what you look like or where you're from. You can do anything with the right mindset and a good work ethic. He came in from Kentucky. I came from Montana, Marine, Navy SEAL, but it's getting through the day-to-day, the humanity of everything. But most importantly, we called it The Way Forward because that's going to end. Like we were both out of the military, and I wasn't going to be a Navy SEAL forever. It's what do we do now? And everybody does that too. We all live pretty much different lives. And getting out of the military is a huge step. In my personal experience, I didn't know what to get into. I didn't retire. I didn't do 20. I don't have health care. I don't know what I can do. I didn't realize that some of the stuff I learned as a Navy SEAL, people do want: effective communication, how to manage stress, how to lead or be led, and never quit attitude. Or if you feel like quitting, just don't quit now, quit tomorrow. Make it short goals to long-term goals, and it's going to work that way. So we wrote The Way Forward because everyone here, you're probably going to move on. A lot of people, if it's buying a house, changing jobs, another relationship, ask her out, take the shot, stuff like that. It's good stuff, and it's worth getting that book just to see who we quote, because a lot of people put motivational quote. I think I quoted John Candy from the movie Canadian Bacon when he said, "Gentlemen, there's a time to think and there's a time to act, and this is no time to think." It's kind of like, never lose your sense of humor, but it's a good book we wrote together. And I do personalize and sign that one and my first book, The Operator, at my website. And we have a lot of fun with that too. If you go to robertjoneil.com, in the inscription, tell me what to write, and within reason, I'll write it. I get some funny ones. I signed one the other day. It was my favorite still. A dude bought my book as a gift for his friend, and he had me sign, "Dear Jeff, you kill it selling mattresses the way we killed bin Laden. Love, Rob."
Okay, Robert J. O'Neill here, and this is website robertjoneil.com. A documentary out. You got a lot of things going on here. But you got that notoriety from being the guy who shot Osama bin Laden. And it's great that you got to turn this around and turn it into service and help for other people. The temptation is obviously to become a big star, get that TikTok thing going, and do it all for yourself. But really, you're giving a lot of people, and you're helping a lot of the future generations, where you're seeing a world where colleges have, to an extent, quit teaching and went into more indoctrinating and kind of generating soldiers for the leftist agenda. The powers that be are trying to destroy the nuclear family or kind of discourage the nuclear family. The world birth rate is lowering. And you're trying, and it's a good thing to see you're taking these efforts. You're taking your celebrity and turning that into ways to offer some positivity in this respect. And I think that's more than commendable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the reason I came out with a book initially was I was actually working in D.C. That was my first job after, and there was a woman, Democrat, Carolyn Maloney, who represented New York, and she said, part of New York, she said I should probably donate something to the new 9/11 museum, the memorial in New York. And if you haven't seen that, it should be a bucket list. Everyone should see that. It's a chronological representation of what happened that day. And it really gets you back to how we all felt. Even if you weren't alive during 9/11, you should go see it. But Carolyn, Representative Maloney said I should donate something. So I decided to anonymously donate the shirt that I wore and the flag that was on my shoulder that I wore into bin Laden's bedroom. I donated it there so it could be seen, along with a coin from the woman that found bin Laden. But as I was donating it, I was brought into a room where there was about 30 families who all lost loved ones on the most horrific, unimaginable day of their lives. And that was the first time I actually told the story. And the reaction from the families, the faces in their hands crying, being told there will never be closure, but this helps the healing process with a name and a face. And I decided if I can help 30 people, I can help a couple 100,000 people that were affected if I tell a story with my real name and everything. And fortunately, I went the right way. My father, for some reason, I joined in 1996. He said, keep a journal because eventually someone will want to read your book. And I was like, Dad, no, who would want to read my book? I'm a dude from Montana. It was before 9/11, but I kept the journal, and then I organized it with an editor, and then I submitted it the right way through the chain of command, through the Department of Defense and whatnot, and they gave it back a pretty good draft. And then I put the book out, and now I can help people. I can help veterans, and it's important. Everyone from the young men here, young men and women in this country need to realize, not on TikTok or social media, that if you get outside, like I keep mentioning, there are great people, and we possess great people who will go anywhere to defend this country. And that's kind of what the whole book's about. And I call it The Operator because I'm not calling myself the operator. I'm saying this is the life of the operator. Right. This is a dude from Montana who became a special operator, but an operator is someone who does anything for their family or community. The best example I have is the trash men in Manhattan get no thanks. They're there at 2 a.m. cleaning up Manhattan. They're an operator. The single mom who takes care of her kids is an operator. She's making her family better. So this is my input as an operator, and I'd love to hear theirs as an operators. And what's weird about me is if I'm wrong about something, I'll admit it and I'll say thank you. And it's one of those things where even if you're wrong, you learn. I've never lost. I've either won or I've learned. And that's the feeling behind the operator.
That's important. I also have another thing I want to show you guys because I was sent this, and I'm trying to pull it up right now.
I can't wait to buy the book when we're done.
Yes, I think here it is. I sent this up, but first, let's talk about this picture, gentlemen.
Nice.
You got Barry, and this is it. We got Barry and Robert here together.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a CPAC.
That's a CPAC. Yeah, that was probably one of the last ones you were trying to get to the airport. I'm like,
I wasn't trying to be rude. I had a flight ticket.
You were as nice as could be. It was like
basically what I try to do is I don't stay overnight in DC. I try to get out of that filth as quick as I can. So I'm running. I might not even had a plane. I'm just running back to New York.
But people love that when I said when two kings of headshots meet. So
that's awesome. That is so cool.
I don't know if you know I'm a headshot photographer. So
yes, that's right.
I don't play on words, but I figured got a kick out of it. That was on a bucket list right there. So
I remember that. That's really cool.
Yes. My next bucket list is to get you in my studio to take photos of you. So
well, we can do that too. I mean, you have my contact info. Let's make it happen. I'm not going to give my phone number out on this platform, but I can get my info to you.
That would be very cool. That'd be
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, great.
And I'm posting in the chat the website robertjoneal.com. So check that out.
And I'm redoing that website right now. I'm not. I have smart people who are doing it. When I talk about my time in the Navy, I always say that I was smart enough to carry a sledgehammer and a gun, just point me in the direction, tell me where to go. But smart people are working it, and we're just because the Netflix show Manhunt is coming out May 14th. So I need my website to be up and running. Just because it'll represent everything. The book's speaking. I'll have dudes that I can do seminars with, stuff like that. What we're up to, blogs, podcasts. So we're excited for that. We're gearing up. This is going to be an exciting Netflix series because they interviewed people who haven't been interviewed before. And I'm talking about the team that found him, some of the leadership. Oh, wow. And I want to see it too, because I know that what I said, I don't know what everyone else said. I'm really pumped to see it because, like I said, the smart people who are working a lot longer than me on finding this dude, it's going to be really good. So website, you can still get books there too and get some current events, but once it's really up, we're going to be excited.
When's the series coming out?
May 14th.
Oh, cool. Wow.
That's this year, May 14th. Wow. That's coming out very soon. That's Let's get that going. But that's again, it's robertjoneal.com. Robert, a couple of I guess we're going into 10 o'clock pretty soon. You got a couple of quick questions here. Where can young people, and again, I just want to get to this on young people, because this is the next generation. We have Generation Alpha coming up, and they're behind two very well indoctrinated, for the most part, generations. Where can they seek, or how can our generations, the Gen X's and maybe some of the millennials with brain cells, help younger people in Gen Alpha, put them in a right direction to either find a leader in themselves, or find a great leader amongst their pack?
Well, I mean, ideally, I would say, find a sport, find a sports team you can join, be it at your school or something outside, because you get around other people. And again, when you're doing something, usually when you're constantly moving, you don't have your phone in your face. You're not on TikTok or Instagram and all that stuff. And generally, men or women who are coaching a team sport have played team sports, and they've got a pretty good attitude about success in life. That's a way to go to. There are good teachers. Every woman on my mom's side of the family, they're all math teachers, which I used to say math is good because it's just the truth, up until recently when we decided math is racist as well, because everything is
2 + 2 is 5, or you're racist.
Join a gym and talk to people there. Always vet your sources, to the whole trust but verify. If you get your news from one place, I check it with another. If you get your news from AI, I would definitely check it with another, because that's an algorithm written by someone that might want to lean you a certain way. What I do too is I just bought an entire set of encyclopedias, and I wanted to make sure it was printed at least in 1970, because I'm convinced now, the whole thing that the winners write history. I don't want some leftist to write an encyclopedia that I take as gospel. I want something else. You can get stuff like that there. Do your research, verify everything, know your history. It's very important, because you're doomed to repeat it. Because right now, you got people right now calling Jewish people Nazis. I'm pretty sure that doesn't work.
Get it all the time.
They just
throw
don't
the
get
name
it.
Hitler. I'm going to start saying Stalin more. This guy's just Stalin, because Stalin actually killed more people than Hitler. I think Pol Pot did too. So did Mao. Mao's one of their heroes too. He murdered a lot of innocent people, which we're headed that way as well. If we don't get our stuff together.
And if you want to go proportionate, give the Kims some credit too, as far as murdering. You ever notice that communist societies, any kind of left-wing dictatorship only requires full compliance, forceful compliance, or forced compliance by of the citizenry.
You will own nothing and be happy. And this is the whole thing with communism. Here's a point I can prove. If we're all just going to share, and you think it's great to just share and spread the wealth, I will prove to you it doesn't work. 2 words from 2020: toilet paper. Nobody shares. It's not going to happen.
They won't share a square.
I'm glad I invested in a bidet company before that, so that was good. Because I mean, you got to figure. I'm a survival guy. Toilet paper is not a survival mechanism. It's just nice to have, and it avoids a really messy shower. But you don't. Just because someone bought it, panic is contagious. Everyone tried to buy it. We're out of toilet paper. Nobody shares. Look at the gas lines in the 70s. Come on.
No, it's true. And I always say the left is looking to make the world a better place for them to live in.
Well, yeah, I mean, the people at the top never notice it. You ever see the picture of Chuck Schumer trying to grill a hamburger? No idea what he's doing.
Oh, I saw that.
AOC didn't know what a garbage disposal was in her house. I turned this on, it makes noise. What is that? Like, Jenny from the block, baby. You're right. You got everything under control. You're ready to be the president. Maybe Kamala can be your vice president.
Yeah. Again, anybody who ever legitimized that woman as a statesperson, as a real statesperson, I can't. They say nothing to me anymore.
Well, it's not even the people. It's like, who voted for her? Who put her there?
That's what I wonder. Yeah, that's scary.
It's the definition of insanity. Well, it's never worked before, but I'll keep voting Democrat.
Right, exactly.
Robert O'Neill, Barry Morgenstein, I want to thank you both for being with us here on Wake Up Patriots.
Thanks, guys. Barry, get in touch with me. We're going to do the studio thing.
That would be very cool. I would love that.
Once again,
I'll get your contact from Chris, because I don't think I have it, but I'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get that together, and I'll put you guys together. We got the again, it's robertjoneal.com. Check it out. You can get the books to learn about the documentary, the way forward, and everything else. Robert, we got to have you on again with Tony. We apologize. Tony got stuck.
No, that's fine. Hey, stuff happens. Just you have my team's info. I'll come back anytime. I'm here in my studio. I'm gonna go read some propaganda, so I'll be here.
Yeah, the problem is nobody wants to look at me, and that's the problem.
Next time,
you don't even know in my own house how much makeup I had to put on to look this good.
I know. Look at me. I'm always all pink here. It's like they're going to call me Pink Man Bad pretty soon.
Next time, Rob, I want to hear the story about that Stratocaster behind you too.
Done.
Oh, the guitar?
Yeah, it looks like a Strat.
Yeah, that's signed by all 5 original members of the Rolling Stones. I don't even know how to play.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my God, I am so jealous right now. That is so freaking cool.
Well, when you hear me play, you're not gonna think it's cool anymore.
Wow, no, that is very cool. I love it.
Awesome.
Nice.
We should do it. We should do a special, maybe a segment on the best guitar solo in rock history.
Oh,
I heard a funny joke. Somebody said they heard officially the longest drum solo was over 15 hours, and it was a kid sitting behind me on a flight from Japan.
I thought it was Cory Booker mouthing off for 25 hours.
Oh my goodness!
Hope he didn't hit it as hard as John Bonham the whole time.
Oh, and boy, that's something that took a lot of effort that went nothing. It just absolutely did nothing. Put a dent in absolutely nothing.
How do you filibuster legislation when no legislation is being presented? You just go out there and yap. I mean, he's just been talking about how he's not going to pee for over a day. That's impressive.
Right. Yeah. We had a stadium buddy like the gamers have apparently, but again, he just talked. He didn't use the filibuster. He did nothing. He just spoke and yammered on for about.
I can beat that. I'll bring some of my encyclopedias, just read them for 26 hours.
But don't worry, Democrats. You still have a Democrat who holds the filibuster record.
Congratulations,
Strom Thurmond.
Yeah, that and you started the KKK. Good job, Democrats.
Nice job, Dems. On that note, Robert O'Neill, Barry Morgenstein, thank you for being with us. Robert, we'll get you on with Tony sometime soon. Patriots,
awesome.
Thank you for being with us. We got Colonel Mattis on with Tony tomorrow. And don't forget, later on this week, it's Sean and Trixie. It's going to be a lot of fun. And George, it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. Thank you for being with us. Thanks, everybody. This is Wake Up Patriots.